After my last video, I've decided never to talk about politics again. Just kidding. Will Trump and Elon Musk ruin a sustainable energy future? That's today's video. One of the biggest issues I see from people who just can't get their head around Elon Musk's newfound support for Trump is the environmental impact. How could this lover of liquid gold, as he calls it, that's oil by the way, ever get on board with EVs, sustainable energy, solar, wind, batteries, etc.? Especially given Trump's disdain and rather uneducated view regarding wind turbines. More on that later. Perhaps people worry that Elon will turn supervillain and cancel his plans to build a sustainable energy and transportation future. Maybe Elon will see the error of his ways and start developing new internal combustion engines after all, and instead of battery storage solutions, make a U-turn and develop next-gen coal power plants. Unlikely, although it wouldn't be a bad idea for Elon to develop next-generation nuclear power plants. There's a good idea. Elon Musk is now far better positioned to carry out his vision for the future, his lifetime goal of building enough wealth and resources here on planet Earth to make a start on that doer-upper of a planet, Mars, and back up our species just in case the worst was to happen and a meteorite wipes out most life on Earth, as it has done many times in the past. Seems a little esoteric, but think about it for a moment and he's got a flipping good point. Billions of years to evolve into humans that can be wiped out at a moment's notice. It's a good idea to have a backup, isn't it? Going forward, Elon now has the pressures of the Democratic Party off his back. Agree with me or not, they were there. See my recent What Just Happened video for a long list of suffocating actions that were hindering Tesla's future. Not anymore. Perhaps nowhere is this clearer than today's stock price. Holy moly, it's up to $356. That's up 67.69% in just the past 2 weeks. Not bad. Not only has Tesla stock and the Twitter bird been freed, so too has Elon Musk, to do what he has always done, improve people's lives with better technology, work on solving the most difficult but important problems, cover the planet with fast reliable internet for everyone, solve just the labour market with useful humanoid robots, of which their potential includes building us 2 or more planets to live on. I digress, let's get back to the inevitability of a sustainable energy future. It's a matter of economics at this point. Renewable energy is the cheapest form of energy. Whether Trump likes that or not, every country will be harnessing the energy that's free to collect in one way or another, and America would be insane to miss out on that opportunity. The oil-rich state of Texas, for example, perhaps wouldn't spring to mind when considering renewable energy, but check this out, over on Grok. Texas has become a surprising leader in sustainable energy, particularly in wind and solar power. Wind power. Texas generates more wind energy than any other state, leveraging its vast windy plains. Solar energy. It's rapidly expanding in solar, often second only to California thanks to favourable conditions and economic incentives. Market deregulation. The state's deregulated energy market has facilitated investment in renewables by allowing competitive pricing, which has made renewable energy projects financially attractive. Economic impact. This shift towards renewables has not only reduced energy costs, but also creates jobs, particularly in rural areas, through wind farm leasing. Political dynamics. Despite its oil-centric reputation, Texas's renewable sector has grown due to economic benefits rather than environmental policies. However, there's been a political pushback with some legislators promoting fossil fuels over renewables. Innovative projects. Texas is also exploring other renewable sources like biomass with facilities producing biofuels and energy from waste. Public sentiment. There's a growing recognition of renewables benefits, as seen in posts from X where users acknowledge the role of renewables in maintaining power during high demand periods. Texas's journey into renewable energy showcases a pragmatic approach where economic incentives have driven significant adoption of green energy sources, even in a state traditionally dominated by fossil fuels. Texas's solar generation is heading for a massive new record in 2024. This is cumulative solar generation by year in terawatt hours. In 2023, Texas generated over 30 terawatt hours of energy over the year. That's 30 billion kilowatt hours. This amount of electricity can power 2.7 million American homes for a full year. Harnessing the energy from that nuclear reactor in the sky works. In short, it makes zero economic sense generating electricity from more costly fossil fuels. Every country on Earth has access to either plentiful sunshine, wind, hydro, tidal. Pair that with battery storage and Bob's your uncle. Sustainable, clean, affordable energy for everyone. It's clearly the future no matter how hard people want to cling on to their fossil fuel addiction. It's the equivalent of clinging onto the most inefficient, expensive, polluting ICE cars. It makes no sense at this point. Like everyone, Trump has his blind spots. He doesn't like the look of wind farms. Fair enough, perhaps. But I'd rather see a few wind turbines than a coal power plant, personally. Here's a few points that Trump just keeps regurgitating about wind turbines that hopefully he will change his opinion on once faced with some evidence. Number 1, they kill birds. Mr. President, if you are all of a sudden concerned about the number of birds dying, you'll need to round up all the cats first, because they are birdie murdering psychopaths. Sorry if there's any crazy cat ladies out there, don't want to worry or offend you, but your cat is the number 1 bird murdering thing on earth. Domestic cats are estimated to kill between 1.3 and 4 billion birds annually in the United States. This estimate comes from comprehensive studies that consider both owned and feral cats' impact on wildlife. Globally, while specific global figures for bird deaths due to cats vary by region, these numbers highlight cats as a significant threat to bird populations worldwide. For instance, in other countries like Australia, cats kill around 377 million birds per year. And in China, the estimate suggests between 2.69 and 5.52 billion birds annually. Check out this chart from Statista. We're going to have to destroy all cats, buildings, vehicles, poison, electrical lines, all electrocution hazards before we get to the least bird mortality causing problem, wind turbines. Number 2 of Trump's turbine issue, cost. He claims they are expensive. Not so. In the UK, the cheapest form of electricity generation is onshore wind turbines built on land, that is. And as we'll look at in a moment, perhaps the safest for all wildlife. And they do generate a lot of power. Over on National Grid Live, a great resource to see real-time energy use and much more, we can see that here in the UK, 38.1% of our electricity has been generated by renewable energy. That's 31% wind. Almost a third of our electricity needs come from wind alone. 5.1% solar and 1.4% hydroelectric. If the UK did install 3 times the amount of wind power today, we would have all the electricity generation we need as an entire country. And still the vast proportion of land would be wind farm free for those that don't like the looks of them. Of course, wind alone can't always be relied upon, but there's already a solution to that. Wind farms and battery energy storage go together like fish and chips. They were made for one another. When wind farm production exceeds demand, the excess electricity can be stored in battery energy storage systems. These batteries store energy when production is high and release it when wind generation is low or demand is high, smoothing out supply fluctuations and improving grid stability. Zero pollution, cheap to build, cheap energy creation, stability for the grid, and over time, a much lower cost to the consumer. A win-win-win-win-win, you might say. Number 3, recycling wind turbines. Putting aside the fact that wind turbine blades are being recycled, even if they were not, they would still have made electricity for 20 years CO2 free. All of that material came from the ground and would go back to the ground, at worst case in a landfill. It's a small price to pay compared to the devastation and pollution that would have come from that same 20 years of energy derived from oil. You know what, let's find out how many turbines have been recycled. Veolia North America posts on X mentioned that Veolia has processed over 6,500 wind turbine blades since 2020. However, this figure refers to only the blades, not the entire turbine. General recyclability. Most parts of wind turbines, like the steel tower, copper wiring and electronic components, are recyclable, with up to 85 to 95% of a turbine's mass being recyclable material. However, these components are recycled at the end of a turbine's life cycle, which spans roughly 20 to 30 years, and the recycling of these parts is not usually reported in terms of turbines recycled. Blade recycling. The blades, which are the least recyclable part due to their composite material, have seen various innovative recycling or repurposing efforts. Companies like Carbon Rivers have upcycled 41 blades, weighing 268 tonnes. But again, this does not specify the number of entire turbines. Okay, not so many blades then, but it can be done. With industry commitments to sustainability and the development of recycling technologies, the recycling of turbine components, including blades, is becoming more prevalent, with thousands of blades either recycled or repurposed as per the reports. Number 4, and lastly, whales. Not that whales, this one. I've only recently learned about the possibility that offshore wind turbines may be causing distress and even death to the whale population. Consider the vibrations of a wind turbine at sea and the high decibel pile driving necessary to plant the turbine base, and it at least seems plausible. Perhaps I should investigate this further with an open mind rather than dismissing it, but for the sake of the video length, I'm going to wrap up with this. Musk's influence could push Trump towards sustainability. Trump respects Elon and has even said America should take care of their geniuses. For Trump to ignore Musk, not take his advice or dismiss Elon's desires for a sustainable electric economy as laid out in Tesla's epic Investor Day would be going against Trump's own advice of listening to their genius on hand, as well as ignoring the epic opportunity to future-proof America by building, investing and creating a thriving economic situation with sustainable energy, batteries, EVs and more. Show Trump the money, the opportunity of a thriving new sustainable future, and I don't see how he'd walk away from that one. Just my thoughts, of course. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and chuck us a like and a subscribe before you go. And if you want to know more about my political stance, maybe you don't, click this video next. I'm Will, this is the Tesla Jigsaw. Thank you, Patrons. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.